Floating point number representation. It's a very important topic, and this is the topic which we are going to discuss in this particular session. Now, what is a floating point number? What is the look and feel of a floating point number? Floating point number will be looking like this, that is plus minus significant into base to the power of plus minus exponent. Say I can write in this way, say plus 10.45 into say 10 to the power of 44. So this is known as a floating point number. So floating point number will be having some significant. This significant can also be called as a mantissa, and this is known as the exponent. This is the base. It can be represented in binary also. So that is the basic syntax or the format of this floating point representation. Now the question is coming in mind, why should you learn a floating point number representation? So to give this answer, I want to show you that think about such a tiny number. It is a very small number. We are having 0 point, then 10 zeros and then 5. If you want to represent this one in binary, then after decimal point we will be having, after radix point we will be having so many zeros will be coming, then 1 will be coming. So that means it will represent huge number of bits to represent this such a small tiny number. But if I can represent this one in this way, it is very easy to represent. You see, to represent 10, I will be requiring only 4 bits because 1010 means 10. To represent its sign, I will be requiring another extra bit. So I will be requiring hardly 5 bits. To represent 5, I think 0.5 is only 1 bit is required because 0.1 means you can go for 0.5 in case of binary. To represent this particular number, I shall be requiring few number of bits. This base will not be represented, this exponent will be represented, and this significant or mantissa will get represented. So to avoid representing a number using huge number of bits, to represent it in a fewer number of bits, floating point number representation can do a magic for that. Let us suppose consider such a big number. After 5, I have written 10 zeros. So if you go on writing, if you go on expressing this one in binary number system, it will be taking too much bits. Just consider. We are having 2 to the power of 10 is equal to 1024. That means if you go for 10 times 1, it is 1023. So only to represent 1000, I require 10 bits. To represent such a big number, I will be requiring huge number of bits. But why should I? I can represent this number in the form 5 into 10 to the power of 10. To represent 10, I shall be taking 4 bits. To represent its sign, 1 bit extra, 5 bits. To represent 5, I shall be taking 3 bits. 101 means 5. To represent its sign, I will be taking another 1 bit. So using few bits, I can represent this huge number. So what is the summary? Summary is that to represent a very tiny small number and to represent a huge big number using fewer number of bits in the computer's memory, floating point number representation is suitable and useful. A floating point number can be expressed in multiple different ways. You see, the same number I have expressed in 3 different ways, but that should not be allowed. I should have a fixed and single representation of a number in the floating point form. So to have a fixed and single representation of a number in floating point representation, we are bringing some norms known as normalization. Normalization rules of floating point number representation. What are the rules? 2 rules are there. 2 rules. Rule number 1, the integer part should be 0. That means the number which you are going to represent should not have any non-zero integer. So integer part should be 0. So that's why this representation we can cancel out because it is having non-zero integer part 1. Second one is that if the number is 0.d1, d2, or dn into base to the power of plus minus exponent, then the first digit d1 must be greater than 0. It cannot be 0. It should be greater than 0, and all di ranging from 2 to n, that means the rest number of digits ranging from 2 to n must be greater than equal to 0. That means that after decimal point the digit cannot be 0. So, this representation is invalid, it is not normalized. Here you see the integer part is 0 and after this decimal point this particular digit is non-zero. So, this is normalized, and you see after normalization a number can have a single representation in the computer's memory. So, this is known as normalization of a floating point number. Questions might be coming on this topic only. So, what is normalization of a floating point number? A floating point number can be represented in two different ways. One is a single precision, another one is a double precision. So, single precision, another one is a double precision floating point number. Just see, consider your C programming. There we had two data types. One is a float, which can occupy 4 bytes in the computer's memory. 4 bytes means how many bits? It is 32 bits. And another data type is double, which takes 8 bytes in the computer's memory. 8 bytes means how many bits? 64 bits. So, that is a double precision. So, single precision and double precision, two representations are possible for a floating point number representation. So, let us discuss one after another. In case of single precision number, we are having 32 bits to represent the number. All these 32 bits will have some dedicated purposes. So, it has been divided into the form 1 plus 8 plus 23. Just go on adding, you are getting back 32. You are getting back 32. So, what is the first bit? First bit is for the sign for the significant or sign for the mantissa, both are same. So, sign for the significant means if the significant is positive, this bit will be 0. If the significant is negative, this bit will be 1. So, sign for the significant. If the significant is positive, this bit will be 0. If the significant is negative, this bit will be 1. So, here you see, here I have written this one. So, in case of binary, if I write, say in case of binary, if I write say 1, say 0.101 into 2 to the power of 1101. So, as this particular sign is positive, so this bit will be having the value 0. Good. Next one is the 8 bits. This 8 bits will be known as the biased exponent. What is the biasing? I am not getting. What is the biasing? You know that 8 bits number in case of signed representation can have range from minus 128 to plus 127. Why? Because it is minus to the power of 8 minus 1 to plus to the power of 8 minus 1 minus 1. So, that is the total representation. If you want to get into the details, please check the previous videos where we have discussed everything into the details. Now, this is a bias exponent. So, the exponent can range from minus 128 to plus 127. Now, if we go on adding 128 unconditionally, you are making it biased. You are adding 128 with this particular range. Then minus 128 plus 128 will become 0 and plus 127 plus 128 will become 255. So, whole range will be shifting towards the positive half. So, that is known as the bias exponent. That means, whatever the exponent value you are having, you are going on adding 128 with that. Next one is the 23 bits, which is for the truncated significant. Now, what is the meaning of this truncated significant? Truncated significance means, I am telling you, this is a floating point number represented in binary. Is it normalized? Yes, it is normalized. How? Because the integer part is 0 and after decimal point this digit is non-zero. So, I have followed both the rules. So, this floating point number is normalized. So, see, whenever one floating point number is normalized, it is bound to say that after this particular radix point the bit will be 1. After this particular radix point the bit will be 1. I think you should agree with me. So, as a result of that, using these 23 bits of space, if I can represent rest 23 bits of this particular significant or mantissa, then utilizing 23 bits of space, actually I am representing one hidden bit is there, this first one. So, I am representing 24 bits of information. So that's why it is called truncated significant. So that means whatever the floating point number you are having, as the number before getting represented must be found in the normalized form. So after this particular radix point, the bit will be 1. So why should I represent that known bit? Let me represent next 23 bits in that particular representation, so that in total we are representing 24 bits of information using 23 bits of space. So that's why it is called truncated significant. Now that is a diagram known as the range specification graph. So that is known as the range specification graph. So this is the graph. Let me explain each and every limits. Now say this particular exponent, as it is of 8 bits and it is signed, so it can range from -128 to plus 127. So it can extend from -128 to plus 127. So the minimum value is -128 and the maximum value is plus 127. So that is the maximum value. So you have got this idea. Now in the significant, what is the minimum value it can have? It can have 23 bits of 0. It can have 23 bits of space filled up with zeros. But as the number was normalized, so after this radix point, the 1 bit will be there. So always that will be 1 1 after the radix point. So that 1 will have the place value 2 to the power of -1. This 1 is having the place value 2 to the power of -1, means 1 by 2 means 0.5. So that means the minimum significant will be 0.5. Now what about the maximum significant? This 23 bits of space can be filled up with 23 bits of 1, but one hidden 1 is there, that was for the truncated. So that's why we will be having after decimal point, in that case we can have 24 bits of 1s after this particular radix point. So just in the previous video you can check that it can be written as 1 minus 2 to the power of -24. It can be expressed in this form, that is 1 minus 2 to the power of -n. So that should be the maximum significant or mantissa we can expect. So that's why in this way I have described and explained all these values. So this is my positive overflow. Below this limit it cannot be expressed, so positive underflow. Below this limit cannot be expressed, negative underflow. Above this limit cannot be expressed, so that is a negative overflow. So that is by single precision, where you are having 32 bits of space. In case of double precision, the bit space will be of 64 bits. I've told that one in this single precision and double precision. So in this case the bit division will be like this. So 1, 11 and 52, and all of them will have the same meaning. There is a sign for the significant, bias exponent and truncated significant. So in this way we can easily conclude that this floating point number representation can be done in the computer's memory in two different representations, single precision and double precision, and these are the range specification graphs I have shown. And why floating point number, what is the normalization of the floating point number, each and everything we have discussed in this particular session. In the next sessions I shall solve some problems on this floating point representation, and then I shall be going for IEEE 754 format representation of floating point number representation. Please keep watching these videos, they will help you a lot. Thanks for watching.